Hi, my name is Katie, and I'm here from the King County Library to share a few books with you that you might like for your summer reading. The first book is called Magic Pickle by Scott Morse. JoJo never expected to meet a living, breathing pickle in her room, ever. She was just a normal girl in footy pajamas until Kosher Dill secret weapon, also called Magic Pickle for short, burst through her floor and torched her footies. Magic Pickle was the perfect superhero, created in a lab accident by Dr. Formaldehyde, and had been in hibernation until now. And his lab his home was right under JoJo's bedroom. But now the Brotherhood of Evil Produce is back, and Magic Pickle is awake after 50 years to defeat them. JoJo is insistent on going with Magic Pickle and helping with his search for the Brotherhood. But can they do it? Or will the rotten vegetables take over the world? Find out in Scott Morse's full graphic novel, Magic Pickle. The next book I have for you is called Frank Einstein and the Electric Finger. Frank is a middle school inventor, an all-around kid genius who, along with his best friend, Watson, brought 2 robots to life with lightning to attempt to win the Midville Science Prize. Now, along with the robots Clink and Clank, Frank and Watson are trying to figure out the science of energy. But when Grandpa Owl falls through the roof while installing a windmill for power, they decide to unlock wireless power. T. Edison is Frank's arch rival, and along with his chimp, he has an evil plan to control all the power in town and make everyone pay. At the same time, Frank is working on the electric finger, a device that would be able to allow the whole town of Midville to go off the power grid and only use free wireless energy. As the 2 arch rivals work towards their own goals, they're working against each other. Who will succeed in the battle of the energy costs? Will T. Edison and his evil plan monopolize the energy sources of town, raising the prices of power sky high? Or will Frank and his friends be able to create wireless power and defeat T. Edison and Mr. Chimp? Join the adventure and find out who the winner is in the energy war by reading Frank Einstein and the Electric Finger by John Skiska. Now I have a few books that aren't quite as fun. They're a little bit more serious, but they're really great books anyways. The first book is called Call It Courage by Armstrong Sperry. Mafatu grew up on an island of fishing people in the middle of the ocean, but Mafatu is afraid of the water. When he was a really small boy, he and his mother got caught in a terrible storm while at sea, and that storm ended up taking his mother's life. Ever since, Mafatu has not been able to contribute to fishing with the rest of the children in his village because he's so afraid of the water. The people of his tribe think that he's a coward. One day, Mafatu hears Kana, a boy he thought was nice to him, call him a coward to the other boys and laugh about him. Knowing that he must prove he is not a coward to himself and to his people, Mafatu and his loyal dog Yuri and his albatross Kiwi set out into the ocean all alone, so that one day he can return to his island and people and show his father that he's worthy of the name that means stout heart. Will the sea let Mafatu safely cross the water to a new island, or will he be claimed as his mother was? Read Call It Courage by Armstrong Sperry and find out if Mafatu is able to conquer his fears and return home in the end. The next book I have for you is called The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle by A.V. Not every 13-year-old girl is accused of murder, brought to trial, and sentenced to hang. But I was. I've tried to remember the person I was in that other lifetime. I was a lady, or I was becoming one. It was 1832, and I wore long dresses, full skirts, high button shoes, and a bonnet and white gloves. I attended the Barrington School for Better Girls in England. When my father's business required him to move to America, it was decided that I would stay behind, finish the school term, and then join him later. That is why I found myself on the Seahawk, on a fateful voyage that changed and almost ended my life. The other passengers had canceled their voyages at the last minute, and I found myself the only passenger on a filthy ship with a hostile crew and no female companionship. In the days that followed, I came to understand just how alone I really was, and why the other passengers had refused to come aboard. The Seahawk was a cursed ship, cursed by betrayal and anger and revenge. And I was a naive child who believed what was told to me and who saw in it my innocence taken advantage of and used against me. Before I walked aboard, I expected the voyage to be uneventful and to end with a family reunion, but I never expected it to include murder or my own death sentence. Find out the real story by reading The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle by A.V. And I have one last book for you today. That book is called The Mighty Miss Malone, and it is by Christopher Paul Curtis. There's good and bad in everyone's story. The Mighty Miss Malone is no exception. The bad is that Desda Malone grew up with her family during the Great Depression, a time when many people in the United States were poor. Jobs were hard to find, and children often went hungry. Desda's family is extremely poor and can't afford medical care. Although Desda's basically healthy, her teeth are rotting, and she is often in pain because of it. Desda and her family also have experienced racism and prejudice that was still abundant during that era. But here's the good. The good is that Desda is an awesome friend and sister. She's funny and kind and loyal. She and her best friend Clarice look out for each other. They even have a secret sign that means 2 girls, 1 heart. Desda is a super smart, but never brags about it. She is a great reader and an even better writer. She's also funny and tough. When Desda's father has to leave home to find work, her mother, brother, and Desda set out to follow him, hoping to catch up. Along the way, Desda's spirit shines through and proves why her father calls her the Mighty Miss Malone. Get to know The Mighty Miss Malone by Christopher Paul Curtis this summer. That's all the books that I have for you today. I really thank you for coming and listening. All of these books and books like them are available at your local library. Have a great summer.